Our project is Java blog system. We are going to create one blog which is named as Connect a Globe, and please give a name given by me. You can change another name, any other name. It's not compulsory. You can choose any other name, but I have referred name as a Connect a Globe. In this blog, or we can say system, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some admins, and I'm going to connect the people using Java. Uh, Also, I just want to add one police station information also, as a giving the information page for this server. So nearby police station, I'm going to try some logic behind this. So this project is based on JDBC, JSP, Java Servlet, and the server deployment. I am using here AJAX. I will tell you what is AJAX and each and everything later. So our project is Java block system, and we are going to create one block system platform, we can say, with a Java app basically. So we are going to use that. So our project is basically develop a block system platform. We are going to develop a block system platform for people around the globe using Java servlet technology. So our is aim is very basic, but what we are going to develop, it's very important here, because we are performing with this Java. So we need to write some Java servlet pages, we need to write some JSP pages and JavaScript also in further. Consider here I am going to use some default images and some things to add and create one beautiful UI for my website, or we can say web application with Java. So I am using here a database also. I will tell you later how I am going to use the database and how I am going to connect it to the my database. So steps of our development is project setup, how I am going to set up my project and how I am going to deploy it. Then understanding different tools, because project setup is just not writing a code. We need to mention all the libraries, each and everything. Then understanding different tools, what I'm going to use here, what is the different tools I'm going to use here, what is the significance of CSS files here, each and everything I am going to mention here. Then some Java basics, you should know the Java basics. I will teach you the Java basics also here, what I'm going to perform. But sometime due to time constraint and each and everything, I'm going to use some default codes that will I will explain later, but use that. Then basics of database, what is the database and what is the SQL statements I'm going to use here. I'm going to use here relational database, no special database like NoSQL database I'm not going to use here. I'm going to use here only relational database with the relational SQL queries, some JSP basics, then Java Servlet and JDBC connections, and deployment on the server, how I'm going to deploy it on the server. So that's it, our steps of development. So just recall the steps of development is project setup, understanding different tools used, Java basics, basics of database, JSP basics, Java servlets and JDBC connection, and deployment on the server. So let us see the what is the things I'm going to use here, what are the requirements, each and everything. So application requirements, let me tell you what is the application requirements here. Not always our requirements are specified with our code or anything. We need to mention the application requirements also here. So Java program to display web contents, basically I'm not going to write total Java program here. The thing is, for that purpose I'm going to create a connection and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to write just one Java code here, what is it's, or we can say pure Java code. Other than this, I'm going to embed the JSP later in HTML files to write a Java programs. So Java programs basic knowledge, also basic concepts of SQL. So you should know the basic knowledge of Java. If you have some prior knowledge of SQL also, it will be very beneficial while developing this project, because I'm not going to explain the age and everything here. I'm just giving the overview of this. Then some Java basic concepts also I'm going to tell you here. HTML and CSS front end, I'm not going to tell each and every part of HTML. I will try to explain that, but I will tell you, you can use your bootstrap also for the better GUI. I'm not going to use your bootstrap, but I'm just telling you, you can use bootstrap and AJAX also. Website for login admin or student, or you can say as a part of here you can use student, but I'm mentioning as a admin only. You can change it to the people also to log in here. So let me tell you, you can choose it as a people also. I'm considering this is for students only, so other is common people. For admin, give administrative actions, and for the common people, these are the two user, or you can say use cases of our application. Tools required JDK 1.8. Why I'm telling JDK 1.8 is the Glassfish servers and Java E version. In our case, it supports JDK 1.8. You can use JDK 16 also, it will support. ID is NetBeans I'm going to use here, and Oracle database as my relational database. You can choose. Glassfish server you can directly import through your file. No need to check for that, or you can check for ID. So that's our application requirements. Let's see our functional requirements. What is the functional application I'm going to use here? Functional requirements, first is admin. There are 5 admin roles here I'm going to suppose here. First is can create and post topic to be discussed and report respectively after getting logged in. So basically it can post the topic or report of that. Delete report, like some it's have abusive matters or explicit content, you can delete that report, or we can say post. Can view all reports topics to be discussed, can search reports, and you can check. I'm considering your police station as their reports also, so that part also you can handle. Help in any report to proceed with further, give it to the media, etc. He can do. Can view the previously posted comments, post on comments on each report or topic. So what it can be handled, it can purposes that there is a city ABC, and in that city XYZ is a located area, and that's very unsafe, so people can put that, common people, XYZ area is very unsafe, and they can post the picture also. So admin can review that, and it can be informed to that police station, nearby police station. So I'm considering this scenario, you can choose any other. So this block system is two-way, it can be reporting matter also, for the reporting matter, and for the smart city purpose also you can use. So common people can view all the reports after getting login. Search and report the police station, like I need to report the police station. It's not very useful in case while emergency, but you can report through this platform also. Can view previously posted comments and post on comments, each and everything you can check. So that's it about the functional requirements. So in the next part I'm going to tell you the what is the servlet basics, but before that what I'm going to explain is here is I'm going to explain the setup of our project. So this is my NetBeans. Once you have installed the NetBeans, I'm using 12th version NetBeans. You can check for stable version. You can look like this, or there is one new window also for you. What is needed here? Go to file, hit new project. So once you hit new project, you can see this is my new project, and you can see Java web. Go to web application here, hit next. You can choose the location. I'm connect globe, so I'm putting like this, connect globe. You can use dedicated library for storing libraries, so I'm mentioning this. Hit next. You can choose server. I choose your Glassfish server, this. Next. Don't choose anything here because we are not going to use here, and click finish. You can use Java server faces, each and everything you can use. That's not very matters here, but remember the thing I mentioned here. So it will take time to check everything. It will create the index.html page for you. Keep it as it is. We are going with only JSP pages. We are not including HTML pages as our front end part. We are going with JSP pages because I don't want to write pure Java code which connects to the HTML. So I will embed my JSP, or we can say Java code, in HTML only. So it will be very helpful while developing the code. So on the left side you can see this, and this is my code. Let me zoom this. So this is the default code which created already to do write content, to supply the content, everything you can see. On this you can check the projects here. Once you click this, it will load the file. You can see the here is libraries file, source packages file, web packages file, configuration files. If you want to add JDK, you need to install the JavaX file also. Let me add that jar folder inside my these things. Let me add JavaX, which is basically contains Java thing, because while developing this I understood that my JDK doesn't contains this, or does not contain this JavaX jar. So if you want, you can download it from the web. It's freely available, and just hit enter. It will load that file. So it will take time to load that file. Once it is loaded, you can see here that's left. Also you need some database connectors. For the Oracle you need OJDBC, Oracle JDBC connector 14th or 10 according to your JDBC, or you can say Oracle version. And for MySQL you need MySQL connector. So that's it for the setup. If you want to check whether it's your running or not, what you are going to do, click here on this connect globe, right click. You can see many options here. Hit clean and build. So if your output window is not opening, what you are going to do, click window, click here output. So you can see the output window here. So you can use this as output. So let me drag it, because this is my coding area and I can check output from here only. So let me just okay. So this is my output thing, and you can see build is successful. If you want to run, what you are going to do, click here, enter, run. So it will move to the directly, and you can say Glassfish server visiting the references, connect globe is running, and build is successful. Once this is done, you can check this is my connect globe localhost 2002. If your port is 8080 localhost, go to your default domain XML in Glassfish server and change 8080 to 2002, because what happens, Oracle database service is also 8080, so it will move to the part that which is basically not very useful content. I can see that 8080 and this also blocks, so simultaneously both can be run and there may be problem or error while you are doing this. So change this to the 2002 as I changed here. So this is my IDE and the build is successful now. So that's it about how we can deploy this everything. So this is basically just a servlet. Let me close this. So what I'm going to do, you don't need this index.html, but directly don't just delete this. What you are going to do, click here web pages, click new, and let me open this web pages, hit new JSP. So when this is done, new JSP, change it to the index JSP, because this is loading file. Always remember index is basically for the loading that, and click here, enter. Once this is done, you can check here index.jsp is done, and it will write content for you directly. Let me minimize, this is not required part. Or what I'm going to do is this is index page now, so let me, so as soon as index.html page running, you can check here, and let me delete this part. So what you are going to do is click here delete, and delete this part, so it will delete it. So if you are now go to this part, let me copy this, because I'm going to go here, and let me run this again. So you can check index.jsp pages, JSP page is now running, which is contains hello world. So that's it, how we can develop a JSP. Don't change the index.jsp, because it's an index file, and the what we can say configuration is loaded with the index only. So this is it, how I'm going to perform this. So in the next part, what I'm going to mention here, what I'm telling, we are going to perform these actions. I will explain the servlet part, and I'm proceeding with the functional requirements. I will check for each and every functional requirement step by step, and I will tell you that within this session we are going to perform 5 administrative actions and 3 common people actions, as I mentioned earlier with the functional requirements. Before proceeding with the project, you should have some prior knowledge about Java and SQL. So I will tell you what is the basics of servlets, what is the basics of JSP in the later part of this tutorial. In previous part, I mentioned the functional requirements of our connect globe block system, and I told you how we are going to perform each and everything here with functional requirements, application requirements. So in this part, I am going to mention what I am going to perform here, which is basically servlet, JSP part, JDBC connection, each and everything here. So stay connected with this and let us see what is our Java servlet. So if you know what is the backend part of web, front end is basically what you are looking here, which is HTML and CSS. But consider there is one form in your web page and you are writing that form. If you once submitted, you got that your data is stored now. So what is the data is stored? So it will go to the database and it is entered in that database. Now the thing is you are writing in the form of HTML. So how your name is fetched and how it's stored in the database, because database is always SQL file, or you can check for the CSV files it's generated, which is basically comma separated files. So these are both different contents. As consider as a structure, each and everything is very different. Like SQL are some SQL statements like create table, add entries, insert. So these are very simple, but your writing in HTML is very complicated. So each entry is in consider as a table, or you can say form as a parameters, and our Java code handle that, fetch that parameter and put it in that database. So it's basically like request and response system in Java in the servlet part. So servlet is a technology which is used to create web application. Again, servlet is an API that provides interface and class. So what is the thing is the interface and class? If you know the Java basics, classes are structures of objects and interfaces are, you can say, instance of classes. So these are both different concepts, but servlets perform as interfaces and classes both. So that's the power of servlet. So servlet is an interface that must be implemented for creating a servlet, or you can say there is a servlet part which can perform the servlet actions, each and everything. But also servlet is a class. Also, as a it's performed as a class with some default libraries that are the capabilities to serve of servers. As a name suggests, servlet, it's deployed on the server part only, extends the capabilities of the servers and responds to the or we can say responds to the incoming request. So what is the request and response? I will tell you. While you are searching on a google.com for cars, consider you are searching cars on a google.com, you request the server show me the information about cars, basically cars like motor vehicles. So you are asking for the request. So now server should respond with that particular page, or uh, consider there is 4 car list Google want to show you. So server fetch that 4 car list and it will respond to your server. So this is very complex thing. As a World Wide Web is extended more, it's became very complicated. But request and response is very helpful while deploying your web application, because web application performs with some dedicated actions. Like in my case, it's performed the blog system, but for the other application considered as a library management, they have some different actions. So for particularly that, we need to write code to perform such actions. So it can respond to any requests. So while we are proceeding with Java servlet, there are many other options. You can use C, C++, Perl languages also here, but or you can use JavaScript, which is very popular. while writing such cases. So servlet is a web component that deployed on the server and create dynamic web pages. So one advantage of Java servlet, what we can say, it's deploy on the server part only. No need to deploy on the client part to extend your abilities with some web applications. So this is it about how we are performing the Java servlet. So let's see tutorial representation of Java servlet. This is my client. I'm sending request. Server will generate one response at a runtime, and it will be respond to the client that response. So it can be some copy of document, it can be a data, it can be image, anything he can provide, or we can say server can provide. So there are different things requests dispatched in servlet, but before that I just want to mention that while deploying on the servlet, what is the beautiful thing is it will be handled to the threading part. So consider there are 100 clients, you just searching in your blog, consider my blog system only, simultaneously 100 client using this my system. So sometimes due to the my server is not very strong, I am using some low level server, or we can say low cost server for the deployment of my application purpose, to because I don't want to waste that much money on that part. Consider as I am owner of this block system, I just implemented the server part on the lower end. If I use some other technologies, I need to mention multi-threading part here. Because it will not handle defaultly, I need to mention multi-threading. Otherwise, it will handle some clients with the different processes. And as my server is very low end server, it cannot handle that many requests. So instead of that, I can use Java servlet, which inbuilt have ability to create multi-threads. What is a multi-threading? Threading is the process divided into the different small processes is known as the threads, and multi-threading is like handling many processes at a time. So it can divide joining the client as one process. It can be divided in several threads, and it can be used as my application to run an application. But beautiful thing is I can handle more requests using multi-threading in Java servlet other than anything or any other platform. So request dispatcher is basically that interfaces, or we can say interfaces of Java servlet, to dispatch the request to another resource from another resource, basically just proceeding from one page to other page. It may be HTTP, HTML, servlet, JSP, you can use anything here. So forward is just basically forwarding, and including just basically the including the same file inside your thing, or you can say inside the same page, you can say. So this is the forward method, as I told you, and you can use this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use some default things here, like some CSS file, style CSS to deploy on my server part. Then I'm going to use some libraries part also here, because to deploy such cases I need to mention it from what we can say. I don't want to create it from the scratch, so I'm going to use some default CSS part here. So let me add such files. If you are seeing my this left side, you can see I'm currently adding this. And what I'm going to do, let me close this, because it will deploy it again and again as a JSP part. It will deploy it again and again. Let me add one footer HTML also here. I will tell you what is the footer HTML will give. It will give the beautiful footer part here, which is basically nothing but is just a padding part, we can see in our file. So let me add such files. Then images and libraries, I'm going to add some. So you can hit enter directly these images. These images are nothing but some web images only. As you can see, there are some web images which I'm going to use here as my background part. some what we can say linking part, each and everything, then some paging part with pause and each and everything I'm going to use here. So that's it, how I'm going to do here. Once this is done, you can check these files. So sometimes there may be error in these cases, so let me check what is the error here. Okay, so I haven't mentioned the color. So there is no error now. Okay, so this is my just everything here I mentioned as my CSS. So this is index.html. Let me delete this part because I will mention you what I'm going to do here. So let me add index.html. So index is nothing but just thing here I'm going to add here. So let me show you. There is too much of padding here I used while writing this. So nothing but this is W3 or World Wide or XHTML page, because I'm using here AJAX. I will tell you what is the AJAX. This is basically a synchronous thing I'm going to use here. Then some keywords, description and title as a test. I will change it to connect globe because while testing I'm using this. So I will tell you what is these things. I just added script here, then all the things here. Style.css I'm adding. So let me first deploy this part, clean and build. Build is successful. Now let me deploy this on my server part. So now my thing is deployed. Let me show you how this is looking. So if you are adding my part only, you can check I created each and everything, post as register admin, each and everything, login form. So these are the some default things I used here. You can use here your thing, and I mentioned some things here with tutorials, each and everything. You can check here, and I'm using this part, but let me check for this purpose. So this is all about how I'm mentioning everything here. So in further part, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mention some important things here. So uh, there is that footer.html. So you can check this is footer.html also loaded. So this is it how I'm going to mention. But before this, let me tell you what I'm going to do here. So let me go switch to the PPT part. So this is the, request.dispatcher. As I told you, what is the thing here? Request.dispatcher. You can check here as what is the basic thing I'm going to mention here. As request.dispatcher is nothing but you can check here as uh, this is the thing what I'm going to mention here. Uh, request.dispatcher is very helpful thing while developing this. Forward is for the forwarding method, and the thing I'm mentioning here is just for putting that part while writing this. So let me go to this Chrome part again. So this is my server. I'm using this connect globe and privacy terms. I added just thing our addresses. This is nothing but I just added images here. You can use your more responsive things here also, and you can check this. So this is nothing but I just added images. Just forgot about this because I'm adding some default text here. I just don't want to put much more efforts on this. So you can use your login form. You can check your recent discoveries here, latest news you can check here. So that's it how I'm going to mention. This is just the index part, and I just for the testing purpose I just added this. You can change it to the later part also here. So in further part, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to put this each and everything. So that's it about the deployment of index.html part. So in a further part, let us see how I'm going to mention. And this is the footer HTML as I told you. So it is nothing but I just created, and let me close this. Okay. So this is the output, and you can check my output is now running also. So that's it about how I'm going to deploy this. We already started our project, which is based on Java block system, which I preferred name as Connect a Globe because I'm connecting the people throughout this software, or we can say server deployment through JSP and Java servlet. So if you have seen, we already created this, not this page, we created index.jsp page, and I already coded some part. I will tell you what is the significance of this part. So this is the index page, which is basically first loading page or landing web page. You can see. Now what is these things I will tell you later, but this is very important. I am preferring my page language as Java, not HTML. So I am embedding the Java code in HTML, you can say, throughout the JSP. So this is the beautiful thing of JSP, and ignore this. These are all the JavaScript where I have preferred some CSS files. So if you have seen these things, okay, let me show you. These are the JSP which I am going to create. But if I am going to downward little bit, and I will tell you where I am using JSP here. So all these things are basically JSP language, or we can say these language. Okay, now you are seeing this not login message, everything out.println. It's basically not HTML, it's Java. So I am embedding inside this. These are the things very important, showing in a green. So the green part is Java, so I'm using here JSP. Now why I'm using JSP instead of using HTML? You say HTML is very useful, you can use this in HTML only. But thing is, while printing this message, you can see this, I just want to print not login message or something like that. In this part, what I have to do, I have to create one HTML, then I have to create one servlet. For that servlet, I need backend, each and everything. Now I can create one JSP file, and inside that only I can use Java file, and it will load directly. So that's a beautiful thing, because I don't want to create index.html and that index servlet also. So I embedded this. I will tell you later what is the JSP thing here. Then I created one admin page, admin JSP, which is pretty similar, which is loading pretty similar. But one thing is here is, just ignore this. I just added this rm. It is nothing but just sentence. If you know the Java or HTML basics, I'm just adding this part because I don't want to add some imaginary part. I am adding just this part only here, and these are some images I'm downloaded from the internet, and here you can put some things, then all the things you can put here. So important thing here is this form. Well, then what is the form? Basically, add a login, admin login, process JSP. I'm going to create action. It will ask for username and password, name as username and password to login, everything here. So this is very important, and I'm including footer HTML to add that footer, and which is the footer HTML. This is the footer HTML, basically nothing but it's having some links, images, then something here like that only. So this is we all already created. I just added admin JSP with this. If you want to create another thing here like just only form, you can add this to give minimalistic look. I'm just adding all the text here and I'm just copied that part only, so you can add that part. So let us see what is the JSP basically. So our servlet part. Okay, let me go to the servlet first. If I told you that servlet, what is a servlet? It's a pure Java code. You can add HTML inside that, but it's request server and response time each embedded with this. But what if I can use only HTML? I can put that Java file on the network instead of putting on the server, instead giving load on the server, because server is also searching that file for that particular purpose. Instead of that, I can put Java file in the network layer, which is basically network is also having some storage capacity, we can say, or we can say transfer capacity. So I can embed that part in HTML only. So this is the forward method, include method, each and everything. Then servlet important parts I'm going to tell you. If you know the servlet, there are three important parts here: HTML, CSS, JS for front end, Java servlet program for back end or logic, we can say, and web XML to control flow of web app, each and everything. But instead of this, JSP is a Java servlet pages, basically Java language inside HTML page. So you no need to worry about web.xml, my file is added or not. No need to worry about that. HTML will take care itself with that syntax, or we can say scripting syntax for that purpose, to link between Java and HTML. But you cannot use JSP directly for the database connection. Remember that you need to create separate Java file for that, like listener files or everything. So that's another thing. But I don't, just for fetching part, just for displaying part, I can use JSP. So JSP technology is used to create web application just like servlet technology. It can be thought of extension of servlet because it provides more functionality than servlet, like expression language, JSTL, Java, scripting languages, everything, transcript language also it provides. So JSP page contains HTML tags plus JSP tags, as I shown you before that part. Then JSP pages are easier to maintain because of servlets, because we can separate design and development. If you know, like let me show you this admin.jsp. There is more padding here because it shifted to this part. No worries. Okay, let me use this part only. So it's very big file, as you can see. So as you can see, till this part, you can say these all the things are basically design, and these all the things are basic part of our development. So JSP is easier to maintain, or we can say easier to specify the gap between designing and development. If I am using HTML and servlet, what is the difference? I have to create another file which is going to store on the server and which is going to load. So it takes more time and everything. Maintenance is very difficult in that case. It provides additional features with some expression languages, custom tags. You can create some custom tags in CSS or JavaScript. You can use that directly in JSP. So that's a very huge thing. Lot of things you can do. But what is the advantages? Basically, I'm going to tell you. It's an extension to servlet. If you know the servlet, we have some limitations, like for the get forward method, each and everything you have to remember everything, syntax, each and everything. But here there is not that such case. You can provide as many as forward cases, everything. And it's an extension of servlet, because why I'm telling extension, you can use some implicit objects, predefined tags, custom tags you can create, expression language you can create another methods in JSP also, just like Java. But you have to remember, you have to give the syntax. What is the JSP embedded syntax? It's just that triangular arrows with percent, and you have to end that JSP to recall that HTML having some JSP tags. Then easy to maintain, as I told you, it's very easy to maintain. we mix our business logic with presentation logic in servlet. Like logic is basically development and presentation is basically design. We have to mix both. Like for the center part, each and everything, you have to put out dot and everything. Then fast development, no need to recompile and redeploy. I will tell you what is the thing here. While servlet, if you create a new servlet, you have to redeploy it again, you have to run it again. But in JSP, consider you developed one code in JSP, or you can say you developed one app which is related to your car booking app you created in JSP fully. And after developing in that part and deploying on the server, I'm not telling on the this local server, I'm telling on online server. After 2-3 weeks, you understood as a developer you have some mistakes in that, you need to add one more JSP. You can add that JSP in that server part, or we can say deployment part, just add it. You don't need to redeploy, no need to change your that .com part or URL part. It just added and it just automatically redeployed, so no need to recompile. Once it is very what we can say, there is no errors in that JSP, you can redeploy it again and again as many as you want, because it's automatically redeployed in JVM or Java server. Similar, if JSP pages is modified, we don't need to recompile, redeploy. Servlet codes need to updated, recompiled. Sometimes what happens while fetching the database, if you have null entries, that thing's also showing the null. So it's if we have changed look and feel the application and everything, we have to redeploy it again and again. So that is means we need to stop the server, we need to redeploy, then again bring that server live. So instead of this, what we can do, we can just add the JSP inside that, and we can perform such actions. So let us see in the ID what I have created already. So this is admin, and if you have seen, I have put a login JSP. So let me a login process JSP. So this is very simple file. What I am putting, the admin as my password. You can choose any different, because I am specifying this only. I don't want to specify more thing here, and this is importing this part and all the things it's displaying. So this is all about how I'm creating this. But let me tell you what is the basic thing here is, if you have seen this part already, I'm specifying the a status JSP. So I will tell you later what is the significance of this a status, everything. But always remember one thing while developing this, you don't need to recompile it again. As these are the JSP files, you don't need to recompile. So what you are going to do is just add that file in your project in JSP. As I told you earlier, how we can add these files in your JSP. Similarly, you need to add that file in JSP. Just recompile it, and you are good to go to develop your files and each and everything here. So this is all about how we are going with this. So in further videos, what I am going to tell you, I am going to create some files here, and I'm going to build it throughout my project with some default things. I'm mentioning here some files you need to create here, but always remember, create all files, don't miss any footer file or anything. So this is the a status, and I'm using SQL. I will tell you what is the significance of this, why I'm putting the SQL file and each and everything. Logout JSP I'm putting everything here. So I will tell you what is the significance of this, each and everything, in later part. So this is it, how we can create. So let us create one more JSP which I already created. It's just what you can say, showing the file. It's not very useful file because there is no logic inside this, but let me show you what is the file name. So specify the file name as area, click enter, finish. So it will take time to create JSP file. Once it is loaded, you can see this file. Let me delete this because no use of this. If you want to space, I'm putting this as it is because I want to specify. I'm going to delete this part. So let me tell you what I'm going to do this here. So my thing is very simple here, or usage is very simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create one I'm going to use one HTTP protocol here, which is basically nothing but some what you can say package here, some templates here which I'm going to use. So it's nothing but just creating the objects, everything I'm going to create, and I'm going to add some locations. So if you want to add more locations you can add, but I just added only 2-3 locations here only. These are the locations I added and which I found on internet easily. These are some random locations I added and I just want to put this. So if you want to add, you can add it here more using or creating by objects. So these are the property and these are the all the JavaScript things. So that's it about area.jsp which I created. You can directly copy this part, or if you want you can develop this part is very easy here, but I'm adding some functions here as you can see here. So this is it how you can develop this part. Functions I'm adding, all these things are related to JavaScript. So if you want to add in Java you have to mention that syntax, but I just added in JavaScript part for the front end. So this is it how we can create this part. Hope you understand. In the further part I am going to explain the main logic of SQL part here with the database connection, and this is it about this topic. So in previous things I told you about I created this session with some username, then submit part, logout part I'm going to create here. So I just added some more JSP here and I will tell you what is this first. So this is pure JSP. As you can see there is nothing here. So this is the create topic, to create an topic throughout the SQL. Then get attribute and please log in first. If I log in or I'm just logged in inside this parameter is topic and email, I have to set the email, and which is I'm going to perform this, which is basically select star, and I'm going to create this topic. So let me tell you what I'm going to do here is, so this is all about this class and path, and this is the JDBC thing here. So let me mention my password. If you know your password you can use, because defaultly I'm just adding this system and Oracle. System is username and this is my password for the Oracle database to give the entry to the Oracle database. Still I haven't created this part, so I need to mention this topic, each and everything using the my listener part, but I will tell you how I'm going to do that part in later. So this is the same thing. Then let me show you the delete thing is also similar. I need to mention it again, okay, because I changed it to the my thing. So this is all about to delete that part. Then for the discussion part also, these are the all things here to find the discussion. So I'm just adding some random text here to find the discussion, each and everything here. So this is all about how I'm going to develop this. Okay, so let me show you the find name. So basically find name is to find the username here, and this is the Oracle. You need to understand this. What is these things? So this is the URL, or we can say driver thing here, and this is the my prepared statement. Select star from this I'm going to create, and all the things I'm mentioned here. Then the find name is also similar. I need to mention my password here. I haven't created any table inside that, but I'm using Java file only to create this, and I will tell you how I'm going to do this. So find name, one is for finding the name, So all the things are having some useful things here. As you can see, this is very similar to this, but there are more usefulness for this that I will tell you in later part. Each file name has having their own functions, but I will tell you what is the significance of this in later. But remember that for finding each name you don't need to create each things. But while developing this I understood that for checking from different aspects, like from country I or find from state, I need to create these instances. Like from finding the inserting, I need to create this through the email, so I need to create one another file name here, because I don't want to mention in a similar thing. So let me save this first and close this first, because these all things are over. As you can see, these are all the things here. And one note, I just added this, so I need to add one library here. So on this note, let me move to the add jar or folder here. Once this you clicked, it will load to this file. So let me go to my jar file here. So where is that? In softwares, in Oracle database, I am having this file. So this is a jar file. Okay, so I will click open here. Okay, this file, open JDBC jar. So it will take time to load here. As you can see, this is loaded now, JDBC 14th version. So you can use this part only. So as you can see, this is loaded now, so it will wait for these things. As you can see, this is now added. So let me save this again. So instead of putting this again and again, you can create one another Java file to mention this part, but I'm putting it again and again. Then this is the one for if you forget some text to get info each and everything, I'm adding here. Or if you want to add some more part in your file, you can add this. So I added this part just for backup purpose, you can say. These all the things with some including part. And header JSP is nothing but I'm adding one header in one file, 2 3 files. So for this purpose, logout JSP, each and everything, I'm adding this part. So that's it about how I'm going to add it. Let's create one listener thing here. So what is the listener thing is just basically to create one, or we can say create all things here, like just creating, not creating only the servlet. I need to create everything here. So let me do this. So no, I don't want to add this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one Java class in default package only new, which is basically servlet. I'm mentioning the servlet name as this my servlet. You can add the package here. Okay, so it's in, we highly recommend to not add this. So let me cancel this. Let me create one package here instead of creating in default package. Let me create one Java package here. Java package is basically connector. I'm creating finish. So in this, let me add one servlet, name as my servlet, click next, and add this information to web.xml. So it will take time to load everything, and once this is done, you can check your connector app is done. As you can see, okay, so this is done. What I'm going to do is I'm closing this part, I'm maintaining as this, and I'm deleting this part. Okay, I will tell you later why I'm doing this, because I don't want to put everything here. Now let me import some files. Import java x dot servlet dot star, then import java dot sql dot star. So I'm going to add these files. Now let me create one public class. Public class my listener, or let me what I'm going to do. Okay, my listener implements. Now I need one thing here. While I need to create implementation using servlet, I don't want to put that everything like try catch and everything I'm going to use there, no doubt. But I don't want to put that HTTP request response everything. What I can do, I can add directly here servlet context listener. So which is nothing but so it will take care of this my listener. So is not abstract. Okay, so currently it's not abstract. So what I can do is I can implement that all abstract methods later. So I will tell you how I'm going to do this and everything here, but let me add one here thing, because it's there is no methods. I need to create one method here, public void this method, and all the things I added. So it's showing me that error is not abstract, do not override with context restored servlet context event or anything. So I need to create test class. So alt enter. So you can create abstract class here like this, you can mention this. So this is one thing here I just want to mention, and let me create one connection here. Then I need to mention string user is equal to system, which is for the Oracle database. Then I need to mention string pass is equal to pass 1 2 3 my Oracle database. Give the space. Okay. So this is it how I am going to create, but let me create one class for name each and everything, because I haven't mentioned try block here. Let me add one catch block also, exception e system dot out dot print ln exception e. So that's it. I'm now going to mention everything like class for name everything, which I already created. Then on I'm going to create a one connection here. On is equal to driver manager everything I'm going to mention. So I don't want to waste time in this. So what you can do is I already created here somewhere in delete JSP. I can use this directly. Okay, so instead of using this, what I can mention is here, because this is direct passing and I want to create one abstract thing here. So what I can do is I can add this. Okay, user and pass, because these are the two things I can use directly here. So this is all about how I can perform this. So let me add some prepared statements and create everything here. So this is all the thing I'm going to create. I forgot to add one thing here. Okay. So these are the things which I'm going to add here. To create statement, execute update, I'm going to create table. So you can create one sequence here, each and everything I'm going to create here. With replace some triggers, I'm going to create all the thing here. So this is all about how I'm creating here. If you want to add one more thing, you can add another things here. Okay, let me place as this is. So let me add one more thing here, which is basically to update everything here. Okay, so let me add one more method to show project is deployed or undeployed. So that's it, how I can add. This is my listener part. So that's it about how I added and apply the triggers. So this is it about this process, and my listener is just for creating or replacing the trigger, creating table, which is basically, as you can see, this is forum registration. And if you have seen this, you can see this forum RPE, RA, or you can see everything here is I'm going to create throughout this project. So my listener. So what you can do, you can execute this first and you are going to mention this, or what you can do, you can directly run these files, or you can directly run this on your site and you can develop this. So in further thing, I'm going to create one JSP to run this file directly, my listener Java. So hope you understand this part. In later part, I'm going to mention everything and how I displayed everything, these parts. And next part, I'm going to tell you what is the AJAX thing I'm going to use here. So previously we have seen all the things here and how we created everything I told you. Now we are moving to the AJAX part here. AJAX is asynchronous JavaScript, you can say, or you can say the deployment part here. So it's a asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It's not a programming language, it's a programming technique more. While developing any JavaScript or JSP, AJAX is a set of web development technologies or techniques using web technologies use client-side created asynchronous applications. So why I am using here asynchronous method? Why I am not using synchronous method? Let us consider two clients putting the request or blog or you can say complaint, anything on my page simultaneously. They both can get error. So I need to maintain two processes different as a asynchronous part. So I need here asynchronous part here. I don't want to create synchronized methods here. So I created one synchronous. I want to create asynchronous part. So I'm using here AJAX. So web application can send and retrieve data from server asynchronously without interfering or display the behavior of existing page, because I don't want to change the behavior of that page. So just add that asynchronously. So this is the, what you can say, file, or you can say flow chart of AJAX working. From the browsers and event occurs, create an XML HTTP file, send HTTP request to the internet. Server will take care of this and when it will create one response through the internet. The browser will be written, or the process will be written using JavaScript and update the page content. So that's it. Inside this I'm using AJAX, going to use AJAX. So AJAX is basically asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It's not a programming language. I'm again telling you, it's a programming technique to create asynchronous methods. So let us move to the IDE. So I created few more things here with login process, which is nothing but for the login using email and each passwords with some file here system and everything I'm going to create. Then logout for the logout JSP, everything I'm going to create. Logon is for the logout, I'm going to use just session invalidate. It will throw to the front page only. Then this is I created open post. So let me show you where I use AJAX. So these are all the AJAX things I'm using while creating objects, putting in this type and putting and printing that part. So that's a AJAX thing I'm going to use here. It's very little thing I'm using this while creating the open post. Also I mentioned this XML HTTP server to put this AJAX find. As you can see, find name, each and everything I'm using here AJAX. So that's very little thing. Let us see what is these things and what the thing here specifies. Basically it's a load document file with some XML HTTP. You can directly embed this and you can create the change content, everything here you can put this. So that's it about how I'm going to create. But it's a XML HTTP request object. So if you know the object, what is the object? It can be used to exchange data between the server behind the scenes. XML HTTP request object. So you can use this object to request the data, and it means it says the possible update parts of web pages without actually reloading the page, or we can say hold the page. It will reload that part only. So that's a synchronous part. So there are different methods in different things using this. You have to check there, but best thing is it's access across the domains. No need to change the domain. If you have same domain, you can use this, or if you change the domain, AJAX remains same. So for the newer things, you have to use new HTTP request things, everything. Abort method you need to create. Then there is open method also, send method also you need to create. So that's all about thing you can create. But remember about the 4 status, or you can say 3 status there are. Basically 200 is for okay, 403 for forbidden, and 404 for not found for AJAX thing. So if you know this, you are good to go to create AJAX logic here. So that's it about how I created AJAX logic. So let me show you some more thing here. I created one post to mention this. Again, this is again some AJAX logic, and I'm adding some thing here. So just remember these things. I used to mention this. I just found some 2 locations as Ghaziabad and Itwa from Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh to put this, and I found this on the internet, Modi Nagar and Mohan Nagar. I just added random things here. I don't want to focus on that part. If you want to create for your own location, you can add that. Then email ID, everything I'm going to mention here. So that's it how I created. Let me show you one more thing here. Register JSP. So this is it how I'm going to create. Register process I need to mention here. So this is it how I'm going to create. But in further more things I'm going to show you how I can perform these actions. So we already created one my listener to deploy that web pages. Then this status is for the showing the status, like there is error or everything. I'm putting inside this part only. So due to time constraint, I already typed everything, and I'm going to show you this while development or deployment. In later part, I will tell you how I can perform these actions. But before proceeding with this, let me add 2-3 files here first. So this is it how I can create, but you need to create one test part also, upload part also. So let me go with the login process here. Okay. So now what is these things I'm going to mention here. So these are the Java, and you need to mention this Corba. Corba is basically for the Oracle development. You can find on the internet what is the thing here, and public member for the public part. So I'm creating username, I'm accepting, and user pass for the user passing method, and boolean to create one status. Then I'm going to create Oracle, and I'm going to create, and I'm mentioning the select part. So once this is done, I can print hi in my command prompt to get that connection is done. Once this is done, it will attribute set email to email username, and it will ask me for the sign in first. If I'm not directly, it will print me username and password does not exist. it will print or throw me from that page, which is basically login page, to the index page. Then logout JSP, as I told you, I'm going to create here already. I already created this part. So this is it, how I'm mentioning this. But remember, while developing the my listener, you can say I already created this part, so it will fetch that data from that part only, and it will give me everything here. So you can use this, select everything, you can use replace, execute, update, you can do here. So that's it, how I created this my listener, which I already mentioned. But okay, so there are some things also required here, because while developing this, before insert each row, you can see this, you can see I created from dual or everything. These are all the PLSQL thing here I added to create triggers. Similarly, for the login process, it will happen like that. Logout is very simple. Once I click that logout, it will session invalidate message, it will print. Then let us see open post here. What is the open post thing I'm mentioning here, and why I'm putting this again and again? While posting this, I need to create one SQL thing here. So why the SQL is very important here? Because I'm going to add it to my SQL thing. So let me, I forgot to change this here, which is basically pass 1 2 3. So this will add it to my direct SQL page while I am posting this part. So upper part will be remain similar, but after changing this part, it will move to the another part. So this is open post theme, which will fetch your post, the mentioning your, if you adding image, you can add the image also here, so you can do that. Then I created open T post for opening this T post, and you can see I added this. So I also again forgot to change here one thing, basically this thing. If you are having another thing, you can change that. Now let me explain this first. What are these things? So I am adding this XHTML, everything here. These are the functions I'm adding to the JavaScript. I'm adding this. So this is very important, what I'm going to create. If I'm putting, please enter some text. If I'm adding, it will find the names to the JSP. As this is XML HTTP request, window XML HTTP request. It's AJAX thing. What is the AJAX thing? I told you earlier. That I don't want to load or reload the file again. I'm going to reload just that window again if name is found or something like that. If not, it will unable to connect the server, it will print me that error. So that's it about how I'm going to put this. So I just want to display that name after finding the name without reloading the full file, because why it takes time to reload everything, as this is localhost only. I can perform this furthermore, but while developing this I can use AJAX. Similarly, for the post I created, header JSP, everything I mentioned. Register JSP is again similar for the registering these files, everything. Registration process is again similar, I already mentioned this part. Then status JSP is again similar, which is going to show me the status here. As you can see, this is SQL file. So always remember, you need to mention your SQL with Oracle and everything neatly, because sometimes like this it will throw the error for me. So let me save this. So this is it, how I'm going to mention in the next part, which is the last part, I guess. So in that part I'm going to mention you everything, how I'm going to specify the files and each and everything in the later part. So this is it about all the things, and in the further part I'm going to put everything. Previous thing I told you how we already created AJAX thing here. AJAX is basically a synchronous Java X JavaScript XML file, and we already done with this part. So AJAX and everything is mentioned. Now let me tell you what is the JDBC database connection, which is basically Java database connection. JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. It's a Java API to connect the database, execute the query with the database, form the update, execute update, everything related to database we can perform in a Java. So it is a part of Java SE, Java Standard Edition. JDBC API uses JDBC drivers to connect with the database. 4 different drivers we are using currently are thin driver because we are performing Oracle thin as our database. So let us see with this database what we can use. We can use JDBC API to access tabular data stored in the relational database. By the help of JDBC API, we can save, delete, update, fetch data from the database. So it's basically API, JDBC API to connect the JDBC driver and create a Java application. So that's it about the JDBC. Here I am going to show you how we can develop this part. So after doing that part related to login, I need to create part for register. For that purpose, I created here everything related to the register, which is basically quite similar to this with address blank and everything I'm going to mention here, with the location, everything, unable to connect the server, everything I'm going to mention. So that's it, how I'm going to provide this, but this is it how I'm going to create my front end part. So this is register, but in this I need to create register process. So for this process I'm going to create one try block. I'm going to specify these names. Now I created this database. If you want to create tables manually, you have to enter in run SQL that commands and create tables manually, but I am providing with this only. So if you want to create this database, what you are going to do, go to the service file, just go to this database, create a new connection, and you can check for the Oracle OCI or Oracle thin. You can choose and you can create new connections. If the driver is missing, you have to choose that new drivers or latest drivers. There are different things you can add it here, but we are going with Oracle. MySQL is already deployed, you can check for that purpose, but Oracle is newly deployed. If you want to disconnect, let me delete this part also, because there may be some errors also when doing this. So that's it about this services part. But in the projects only, we need to create register process to create registration part, then develop this on that part, and we are going to create one JSP file related to this. So this is how I'm going to store it using this string username get parameter, and through that I'm going to specify this. Then in this this is just for fronting part. As you can see, let me scroll upwards. This is just for fronted part. I'm going to develop this, but in this I'm adding one more thing, which is basically using this JDBC. What I'm going to do, I'm going to fetch some data like these, select these IDs and everything. I'm going to select and I'm going to create. So in test part, I'm going to test this as connection. That's very simple thing I'm going to do. Let me show you how you can create a connection. Well, first let me delete this connection which I already created. Okay, so it is not deleting. Okay, so let me add one more thing here. So why it is not deleting? Because it's currently in under use, so it's not deleting. Let me disconnect first and then let me delete. So okay, now you cannot see anything here. Go to here database, create a new connection. Now let me make this more bigger. Okay, so this is Oracle. Our is Oracle thin. Now you can see this is done. I already added driver files. Click enter new. You can check for this XC. Change this to your system name. Mine is for system only. If you want to change, you can change. And password is for creating connection. Then hit test connection. You can see connection is succeed. Like connection is, there is a connection between this, so no need to change anything. If you want to click remember password, hit next. Then select schema. Schema is our system only. Hit next. System on default schema. So you can say finish. So now our database connection is finished within this. So we don't need to create anything. If you are deploying in the server like Heroku app, you need to mention the pom.xml, which is basically properties.xml. In that file, you need to mention PostgreSQL dependency, which is related to that part. But this is all the things how we can deploy on this part. So let us go to the test DB part, which is quite similar to this, which is select image from ID, and I'm going to put this, and I'm going to file input stream in that part. So that's it how I can do. But this is again JSP, not so Java file. If you want to create Java file, you can create for that purpose. So again go to the upload for uploading part to test DB and each and everything. Upload image part I already created here, so that's it here. And if you want to use, you can use this directly. Upload peak and everything I mentioned already here. So now let us go to project, web pages, sorry, connect to globe, clean and build. So let's go to window and click here output. As you can see, so but okay, forcefully unregistered, so I unregistered this part, and build is successful. Let me close this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this project. So it will take time, and my build is successful. So go to this. Okay, now you can see my deployment is successful. If I put here admin as my admin part, I can go to the admin page. So I hit enter to go to the admin page. Sometimes it take time to scroll down through the each part, but as you can see, this is loading part. It's working very fine, very smooth. Then this is login process, and how I'm going to specify this. So if you want to check, you can check here our login process. So this is the login process, which is going to use here login process, and which is going to deploy everything here. Then currently I don't have anything there, so it's not showing me anything. But if I go to the admin page again, you can check if I am using new user, so login as admin. If I put here admin as login page, I'm going to go good to go. So here is how I'm going to create this part. So this is my admin page. So okay, Chrome supports, because data breach is basically admin. This is the beautiful thing. I can go, this is all the things, that is the things, and I can check for this register, discuss your device, your area, post report, you can check here. So that's it, how I'm going to develop this portal. So post report is basically you are going to post the report with your app or anything you can do. Like you can post your report pending executed, you can perform. So I am considering only here one country, and two, if you want to add, you can add more drop down menus. If I hit logout, it will be logout from my page. Currently my system is performing very heavy load applications, so there may be some times in that. Then administrator, if I enter new user method here, it will show me the new user. You can add the new files also here. As you can see, this is all the things I can do. Then there is one discuss forum also, you can do your advice also, you can add here your area. So this is just like whole website for Connect Globe you can use here. So that's it about how we can develop this project. If you want to add some more different things here, you can add. It's your wish to add more things, but you can see please log in first, you can do here. Then view status, you have to view status and everything. So that's it how we are going to perform this. So hope you understand this part. In further, so this is the full deployment of the server. If you want to extend it more, like you want to deploy on servers, what you are going to do, Heroku is one of the famous platform for this. So let me show you this Heroku. So Heroku is one of the cloud application platform you can perform. So this is the Heroku website you can perform. So it supports many languages using this Go, Python, anything you can use. Java also it supports, which is basically Java web. So what you are going to do, you are going to sign up this first, but let me go to the one thing here, which is basically documentation part. So in the documentation part, you can choose documentation for Java. And in Java, what you are going to do, you are going to deploy Java apps on Heroku. So you can setting HTTP port for Java applications, you can do everything here. But remember, you need to install Heroku CLI and Maven 3. As I haven't mentioned the Maven 3, you have to install that, and you need to add some form.xml. Everything is available on this Heroku platform. Once this is done, you can get the Heroku website link and you can proceed with that part. So this is it how we are going to perform. So I deployed it on the server, which is basically localhost, but if you want, you can develop on Heroku platform, but it's needed Maven library. So we created Connect Globe application using Java. Hope you understand. Thank you.